Hello, my Delphi Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. Ooh, coffee. All right, we are back with another Coffeehouse Crime. This one here is actually a two-parter. We have this one, which is titled "The Snapchat Murders: A Case of the Delphi Murders," and then we have an update that we're gonna do them both together. That way, we get yeah. I'm really excited. I've never done one like this before. It's a new one. Mark this down in the history books. All right, y'all. I'm excited for today's story. Go ahead, turn the mics down low, put on something comfy, come up with something special. Let's get traumatized. I feel that I've had some people commenting on them want me to do a reaction to the Delphi murders. So I have a feeling it's going to be a little fuckered upper. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What we know is what we know, and we're not ready to talk about that yet.
How close are you right now to getting this solved?
One piece away. One piece away. Eventually somebody's going to do the right thing. He has no idea what we know, but one day he will.
Guys. Yeah.
If we hit year 4, I hope we're sitting here again. But we will do everything within our power and within the parameters of law to find the individual that did this to Abby and Libby.
The chilling case of the Delphi murders. I know nothing about this. Really don't. Like I tell y'all all the time, I don't watch the news. I don't keep up on stuff like this. It depresses me to no end. I know I watch it in my reaction videos, but it's different whenever I'm doing it like this because I can sit back and kind of poke fun at things. And yes, Coffeehouse Crime is on the more serious side of the ones that I watch, but even he doesn't have this doom and gloom about him the whole time he's telling you about something. Plus, I got my trusty cup of coffee with me. Oh,
Our story starts in Delphi, Indiana.
Delphi.
Delphi is a small town with a meager population of just 3,000 people. It's a relatively safe area to live and work, and it's most commonly known as a farming community. Not a lot goes on in this sleepy town. That was until February 2017. Liberty German and Abigail Williams were two girls living in the local area. They were best friends, and they both went to Delphi Community Middle School. Liberty enjoyed volleyball, softball, soccer, and swimming. She was a band member in her local school, and she was a creative individual. Abby was also in the school band and played the saxophone. Abby loved to read, and she enjoyed camping, swimming, and being outdoors. They were both inseparable together. On February the 13th, 2017, Libby and Abby were hiking on the Delphi Historic Trail, just east of Delphi on the Monon High Bridge. Monon High Bridge is a decommissioned railway bridge, but it doesn't stop locals from...
That's cool looking though. We have an old train bridge down where I live. You're not allowed on it at all. It goes across the river. We still went on it. It is just really cool and interesting. Then I moved away, and then I moved back for a little bit. Well, I guess in that amount of time that I moved away and moved back, they redid it, and Trains was using it again, and no one told me. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, no one had to tell me. It'd been nice though. It was scary as shit. Luckily, I was like close to the end of the bridge where I just like ran like hell and jumped off, land on some dirt. It was scary as shit though.
getting a walk and a good scare from heights. It was an unusually warm February afternoon that day, and with school out, the two girls were taking advantage of that. The area wasn't far from home. It was just a country road out of town. But despite this, the area was a very secluded spot, and the bridge wasn't really a safe place to be for two unsupervised girls. A family member dropped the girls off with a plan to pick them up a couple hours later, and Libby and Abby jumped out of the car at around about 1 PM to start their walk. Their afternoon started off fine. They made their way towards Monmouth High Bridge, and roughly an hour later at 2:07 PM, Libby snapped this infamous photo of Abby over the bridge and posted it to Snapchat.
Is that someone down here? Like, I like the fact, I know this is probably really going to be a really fucked up story. Because, I mean, Snapchat murders the case of the Delphi murders. I imagine these two poor young ladies was taken way too young by some piece of shit. But I like the photo. I like how she has her right here, but you can see the bridge going back that way. My question is, right here, is that somebody? Or is like my eyes playing tricks on me? Maybe the shadow on a tree or something? It's hard to tell. It's really small on my screen. I don't know.
However, at 3:15 PM, the girls were nowhere to be found at their pickup point. Calls to Libby's mobile phone at first went unanswered, and then eventually went straight to voicemail. At first, the families weren't too alarmed. They both decided to go down to the nature trail and look for Libby and Abby. But as time went on and the two girls were not found, the two families started to get nervous. They contacted the local sheriff department at 5:30 PM. That evening, as news spread, Sheriff Lazenby told RTV6 News that he had no reason to believe that the girls were in danger. At the time, crews believed that the girls simply got lost in the woods and would eventually find their way back. But throughout that evening, dozens of people volunteered to search for Libby and Abby. The only clue they had of where the two were through the Snapchat photo. The search continued through to midnight, until it was officially called off due to temperature and darkness, though some of the family members carried on looking.
Yeah. Oh man, so if they call it off due to temperature, that means it was cold. Like, freeze your balls off type cold. Those poor kids, they needed to be found. Like, I would have stayed out too, period. I don't give a shit. I'd bundled up.
The next day, crews resumed their search for Libby and Abby. It was the morning of February the 14th, Valentine's Day. Crews widened their search area as soon as the sun came up, wandering further away from the abandoned railroad track and checking the wooded areas underneath the bridge and into Deer Creek. The official search had only just resumed when two search members made a horrific discovery. The bodies of Liberty German and Abigail Williams were found, just over a mile from where they were dropped off on a private piece of land near the Monon Bridge. No details of how the girls were found or their specific cause of death were publicly released. In fact, to this day they still haven't been. The only details of their deaths were through leaked messages from a search team member. These leaked messages detailed that Abby was stabbed multiple times, including through the heart, and Libby's neck had been cut so deep that it was barely attached. The community was devastated.
Oh my god. What kind of fucked up deranged piece of shit? That's rage. Like, that's rage. No, that's not just a simple, oh, I just felt like killing someone type of murder. That there's some rage behind that shit. Oh my god.
Law enforcement declared both deaths as homicide and offered a $250,000 reward for information that would lead to the arrest of who this murderer was. But before the girls met their fate, back on the bridge, Libby saw someone approaching them and felt uneasy. She felt compelled to take her mobile phone out of her pocket and start recording. In that moment of braveness and wit, what Libby recorded would be something that confuses and haunts people still to this day.
Was that the shadow that I seen all the way down at the end of the bridge? Y'all remember? I said, is that somebody down there? And I was like, this? Because that looks like the bridge, don't it? The wooden slats and the rail and all that good shit. Oh, you piece of fuck.
So things get foggy here. What law enforcement released to the public was only 2 seconds of the video clip, but unofficial sources believe that her video lasted over an entire minute. Just after these 2 seconds, Libby puts her phone in her pocket and leaves the video recording. The two then start to walk away from the unidentified suspect off the bridge. And at some point after both girls are off the bridge, Libby's concealed phone records the following audio message.
God. I don't know if I want to hear this.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
And that's all we know.
Guys, it sounded like it said, guys, get down the hill. Kind of how to get to it. Hold on. Turn your volume up.
Downhill.
And that's all we know.
If I wasn't opening my big mouth.
Audio message.
Guys. Downhill.
Get down the hill.
Guys. Downhill.
You hear it, get down the hill. Guys, get down the hill. Like that.
And that's all we know. Other than an additional 2 mugshots, that's all the police have released to the public. In the days following the girls' murders, Libby was heralded by state police as a hero for having the presence of mind to start recording when she did. Her video and audio clips very quickly gave the suspect the name, Bridge Guy. So what do we know about the released footage? Well, as you'd expect, this video has been very heavily analysed by people online. There are in fact many possible theories and details out there, but these are the ones that we know. The video shows the suspect walking behind and towards Libby and Abby on the bridge. He's white, male, roughly 5'9" and weighs about 200 pounds, stocky build. He was wearing light blue jeans and a dark blue jacket over a flannel shirt, some sort of beige baseball cap, and he wore a fanny bag. Both of his hands appeared to be in his pockets, his left hand lower than his right hand.
Yeah, he's an older feller. 40s or 50s. I'm not going to say this in a mean way, but he looks too clean to be a transient. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he's homeless, you expect him to look dirtier. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. Like, his pants look fairly clean. His jacket looks fairly clean. Anybody who's ever been around someone who's homeless, they don't look that well kept. Not where I live, anyways. And this motherfucker's a piece of trash. I'm sorry. I don't even know who the hell he is, but I hope they throw him on the train tracks and someone fucking runs over his fucking head.
Looking like his right hand is holding on to something. He was also walking in a funny way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does. Like right there. Looks like it's kind of like head up underneath the fanny pack. You know, like he's got hold of him just underneath the fanny pack to where he can just pull it out. Either a knife, maybe a little gun or something. Probably his knife. Since they was stabbed and I mean, I don't know for sure, but he is walking slightly funny, like he's trying to conceal something. You know what I mean?
But that's what you'd expect on a rickety bridge. And in the final fraction of a second of the video, you can see him turn towards the girl's camera.
Yeah, he turns straight at him, like he's gonna start walking right at him. Like looks like he's walking just down, trying to act like he's looking down the ground, hoping no one's paying attention to him, type shit. You know what I mean? And then he's like, "Fuck, they see me. I'm just going to start walking right at him."
Libby was just over the south side entrance of the bridge when she recorded the suspect. The suspect was around about 90 feet away from her. Abby, who was closer to the suspect, was walking towards Libby. Unconfirmed sources state that just after this video clip, Abby asked Libby if the man was still following them. Libby responded with, "Mm-hmm." The two knew something was wrong, and shortly after that, they are then told to go down the hill. Law enforcement said that the video and audio were from the same media file, and that it captured the man telling the girls to go down the hill during possible criminal activity. They have, however, never elaborated further than that. The clip of the suspect sounds commanding, and what he says matches the location of where the girls were found. At the end of the south side of the bridge, there is a hill embankment, and if you go down this hill, it leads you towards the river, Deer Creek. Just over that is where the girls were found. 5 months into the investigation, Indiana State Police released their first sketch and description of the suspect. The first sketch was created after police received information from several witnesses who were in the area at the time that Libby and Abby had disappeared. At the time, the suspect was described similar to that seen in the video. The suspect was between 5'6" to 5'10", 180 to 220 pounds, and had reddish to brownish hair. However, 2 years later, at a press conference on April the 22nd, 2019, police released a second sketch. That sketch appears to be of an entirely different person, and is now the person believed to be the main suspect in the murders of the two girls.
How can you have that big of a fucking difference in the sketching? I mean, seriously.
Along with the new sketch, police also updated their description of the man and believed he was between 18 to 40 years old, though he could appear to look much younger than he actually is. Superintendent Doug Carter shared,
"When we decided that, through the information we've received, that we were going to release the second sketch, I don't believe the individual knew we were going to do that. So, it was really important. I think he was probably there and or watching simply because he thought we were on the wrong path."
Both sketches were composed from individual witnesses who were both there on the day that the girls went missing. Indiana State Police revealed that the second sketch, released more than 2 years after the girls were murdered, was actually the first sketch that was drawn up. They also said they believed that the second sketch was a more accurate depiction of the suspect, though the suspect could actually be a mix between the first and the second sketches. One final key piece of information that investigators released was that they believed the man who murdered Abby Libby either lived in Delphi or was familiar with the area. ISP Superintendent Doug Carter shared the following statement.
Yeah, he, like I said, he didn't look like a transient, like someone who just like traveled through the area following like the train tracks and shit. You know, because a lot of homeless people will do that. They'll follow the train tracks. It's a quick way to get from point A to point B. Here, anyways, I don't know about where the rest of y'all live. I know here a lot of them will travel up and down the train tracks and all that good shit. He like I said, he looked clean, like, and he looked like he'd been out for the day, but he wasn't covered in like a filth to him.
At a press conference.
"I've walked across that high bridge myself. It's 65 to 70 feet off the river deck. It hasn't had a train on it since 1929. The ties are starting to rot, it sways back and forth, and it's not something you can just jump on and walk straight across if you've never done it before. I decided I was going to take the riverbank going back. I didn't. That wasn't the first time he's been on that high bridge. My opinion, again that's my opinion. I experienced it, and I kept a piece of the high bridge, and I'll carry it with me until we find out who this is."
During the press conference in April 2019, Indiana State Police also requested the public's help. They were trying to identify the driver of a vehicle.
Let me move me down out of the way here, that way you can get full scale this here map. Okay, you got location of parked vehicle, which I don't know if that might be the suspect's parked vehicle or just a parked vehicle. This is where the girls were dropped off. I guess they hiked along this path to the bridge entrance. This is where the video was taken. Then he said that you actually go down a hill here to the riverbank, and then the bodies was found over here. I mean, they traveled a pretty damn good distance, though. So, by the time they reached from here to here, there was probably a little bit more on the exhausted side. So even if they wanted to run, they probably wouldn't have been able to run far. You know what I mean? And God only knows where that feller just popped in at. I mean, he could have been out there camping, anything. And it looks like some thick woods all through here. Got a few carved out places, but
that was parked near the Monon High Bridge on the day that Libby and Abby went missing. However, no details were released to the public, not the make, the model, the car's colour or the license plate. Really keeping us deprived here, guys. Come on. So far, no additional information has been released by Indiana State Police, and they still haven't identified the vehicle or the driver of the vehicle. So the question now is, who is Bridge Guy? Since Abby's and Libby's deaths, only one person has been named as a suspect by Indiana State Police. The name of this suspect is Daniel Nations. But during a press conference marking 1 year after their deaths, Indiana State Police shared that Daniel Nations was not someone they cared a whole lot about anymore. Another person of interest was Charles Eldridge. Charles Eldridge was arrested on January the 8th, 2019 in Union City, Indiana on charges of child
he
molestation.
looks more like the picture than the other feller. Man, bro, I hate to say this, but you look guilty as shit. Like, you just got one of them faces. You're fucked. Even if you didn't do it, you still look like you did it. Oh, man. And that's the thing that sucks about sketches. Like, people see people differently. They do. Like, different features stick out to people more than other people's. The same feature doesn't stick out to everyone. So someone might say, oh, he had bigger ears. Oh, he might have had a bigger nose, fatter jaws. And you're going to get a sketch that looks like something maybe completely different than what they actually are, just because it comes from so many different perspectives. Plus, he just looks guilty. I mean, he probably ain't. I don't know. We'll find out in part 2.
Child solicitation. Those who know Charles have described him as being a violent weirdo obsessed with hiding in the woods. Police in Randolph County alerted the FBI to a potential link between Eldridge and the Delphi murders, on account of his strong resemblance to the suspect's sketch, though this was before the updated sketch composite had come out. And most recently, authorities have shared that they're looking into a suspect by the name of Paul Etter. He had been accused of abducting and sexually assaulting a 26-year-old woman, and following these allegations, he killed himself during a police standoff in June 2019. Despite these ongoing investigations, no one's been arrested.
Dude just up and killed himself? What the fuck? I don't know if that makes him look more guilty or what. What the hell? I mean, if that was the fella that did it, then we'll never fucking know. He's dead. The thing, he's dead, so.
So what's the Coffeehouse verdict? My personal opinion? I don't know. Abigail and Liberty were 2 young girls, just starting their life in a small town. It's scary to think that the 2 young girls were murdered in broad daylight. But what must have been more terrifying for them is that they knew something was wrong in their final moments. Liberty was brave and smart in her actions. What she recorded is nothing short of remarkable. You would think that in today's times, the video and audio of a killer would be enough.
I'm telling you, it really sounds like he's saying, guys, get down the hill. Like, he's not saying get, like, a lot of people pronunciate the whole words, but some regions, have a little bit more of a relaxed part of grammar. I mean, I'm from Ohio. We don't talk like everyone else. Everybody has a little bit different dialect. But it's more like guys, get down the hill. Get down. Get down the hill. Not like he's saying get down the hill, but like get down the hill. He's making it one word instead of get down. It's get down. So to me, that's probably a little bit older of a feller. And he was born in a little country. And I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, sorry.
enough to eventually find them, one way or another. But that's why this case is so frustrating. No one's been arrested. I don't know if the current suspects have any connection to the murders. I'm sure if there was enough evidence, they would be arrested already. And what's just as frustrating is law enforcement's hush-hush strategy. I understand that withholding information from the public is done to prevent any tip-offs of current evidence to the suspect, but Liberty recorded her murderer so the world could see and listen, and that's not something the world can currently do. Law enforcement sketches also totally contradict each other. This could have easily confused a valuable witness already. The first sketch released to the public resembles the video much better, and it even resembles Charles Eldridge and Pauletta, but their updated sketch in 2019 seems to discredit both suspects. The video and audio, for what we know, is terrifying. I hope that one day we will find their killer, but who knows? Hi there, and thank you so much for watching another video of mine. What do you think happened to Liberty German and Abigail Williams? Do you think we already know the suspect, or do you think it's someone else entirely? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this case, please like.
Alright, so before we start the next one, I don't like the fact that they have two completely different sketches. I don't like that. Like he said, he said it very, very well. That's going to confuse any witnesses. It's like, oh shit, I don't want to get someone else in trouble because, you know, that's not who they're looking for no more. Or, I seen this person out there, but they are looking for that person, so I didn't see that person. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. To me, that's some straight bullshit. Sorry. It is. And to be stabbed like that, and to be the one to have her throat cut so deep that, you know, she was almost decapitated. That's rage. Why he was so angry at these two girls specifically, but that to me shows rage. You know what I mean? All I can say is whoever did is a piece of shit, and they deserve so many bad things to happen to them. They should let the parents have 15 minutes alone in the room with no cameras with them. Yep, 15 minutes alone in the room with no cameras. Alright, let's go to part 2.
Hi there folks, and welcome to a short and special episode by Coffeehouse Crime. Now, case updates aren't something that I usually cover here, but given the recent updates to this story and the number of people requesting it, I thought it'd be prudent to do so. In February 2017, Liberty German and Abigail Williams were hiking on the Delphi Historic Trail in Carroll County, Indiana. What followed was their untimely deaths and a very puzzling story. If you're not familiar with this case, then may I suggest that you refer back to my old video created last year. However, just a warning in advance, please excuse the ridiculous hair. Seriously, I was in the middle of lockdown and I had no access to a barber. Today's quick video includes a quick recap of the case, what we know about our newly arrested suspect, and what's next in the process. So please, if you don't mind, buckle up and get ready for the short deep dive. This is the updated case of Abigail Williams.
I didn't need a barber. I do all my styling myself. You don't get a luscious line mane like this from going to no barber. Remember that.
And Liberty German. Our story today begins in Delphi, Indiana. Delphi is a tiny town in Carroll County with a small population of around 3,000 residents. Now, before its recent rise in the public spotlight, it was classed as a safe area to live and work, and was otherwise most commonly known for its significance in farming. Not a lot happened in this sleepy town, but as many of you will know, that all changed in February 2017. Liberty German and Abigail Williams were two young girls living in the area. The two were best friends and both attended Delphi Community Middle School. It was a Monday on February the 13th, 2017. Libby and Abby were hiking on the Delphi Historic Trail near the Monon High Bridge just east of Delphi in Carroll County, Indiana. The two girls were on a break from school, and it was an unusually warm day. At around 1 PM, a family member dropped them off near the...
I mean, you can't blame them though. I mean, look at that. If that is actual footage from where they was hiking, who wouldn't want to hike that on a beautiful day, no school? Shit, I'd be out there too. And that pisses me off. These two young girls just wanted to go out and enjoy it. You don't see that much in kids nowadays. It's more like, I'm gonna go play Fortnite. I'm gonna go play Warzone. These two young girls wanted to go out and experience the world, and some piece of shit ended their lives. That pisses me off so.
Bridge. And just over 1 hour later at 2:07 PM, Libby took this infamous photo of Abigail.
But see, this is what I'm saying. Like previously, that might just be a shadow off of a tree, but it looks like someone right there walking. Like she might have got a glimpse of him before he was right up on them. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, she did an amazing job taking this picture with her friend right here and everything kind of going down. I love photography. I'm sorry. I'm getting really... But it's drawing your focus down the bridge, and you have the beautiful sky over here. I mean, she took an amazing picture. But what if she didn't do it on purpose? What if she's trying to sneak a clip of whatever the hell that is right there? I don't know. I watch too many conspiracy theory things. My brain starts to jump to all kinds of conclusions anymore.
Before posting it to Snapchat. But at 3:15 PM, when the two girls were due to be picked up, they never actually showed up. By 5:30 PM, authorities were informed of their disappearance, and unfortunately, the following day came with some very terrible news. Their bodies were found a short distance from the trail. What followed was a massive investigation into their deaths, and as it turns out, in the act of bravery and wit, the girls had actually recorded their killer. Shortly after their Snapchat post, a man approached them from the direction they had walked. Now, since he was acting strangely, Libby pulled out her phone and started recording the man. And her recording, as seen here, has given this individual the notorious nickname Bridge Guy. After catching up with them, Libby's phone recorded his verbal instruction, which, to this very day, I still find to be one of the eeriest recordings in existence.
Guys. Guys. Guys.
Combining this evidence with potential witness...
I'm telling you, you hear that get down the hill. He's an older feller. I'm not saying like he's like 60s or 70s or nothing like that, but he's older. 40s to 50s. He's got that country twang to him, you know what I mean? Get her done type twang. Down the hill. Drop some of them letters and run the words together. Not insulting anyone, everyone's got their own dialect. Hell, I talk like I got a mouthful of shit half the time, so who am I to judge?
Reports, 2 official police sketches were made, and as you will likely agree, both are incredibly different to one another. Now, several suspects came out of this, all of whom have since been declared as no longer a person of interest. But all of this changed just 2 weeks ago.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation.
The fuck, it ain't time to celebrate. Bro, I would have ripped my britches off and started running around and go, "Woo! Be his ass, Mr. Policeman!"
That today, actually last Friday, was the day. And an arrest has been made.
On October 26, 2022, Richard Allen was taken into custody and formally charged with 2 counts of murder.
Wasn't he one of the suspects from previously? I know, literally, we just switched videos. I have the memory span of a freaking goldfish, bro, okay? But isn't he like one of the ones that was previously suspected with the first drawing?
Murder in the case. Richard Allen, who is currently 50 years old, lives in Whiteman Drive, a residential neighborhood
50 years old? What'd old Bill say?
found in Delphi. Both he and his wife, Kathy Allen, have owned the home since 2006, meaning they had been living at the address at the very time of the girls' deaths. The home is half a mile from Delphi Community School, where Abby Williams and Libby German attended. It is also only 2.5 miles from the Monon High Bridge Trail, where the two were later found dead. Richard Allen has no criminal history, and he only has 2 speeding tickets, one taken in Jasper County in 2011 and another in Fulton County in 2005. He is also a licensed pharmacy technician, and to make things worse, he was once employed at the Delphi CVS, where he once made contact with Liberty's mother during their disappearance. She had once entered the store to print off photos of Libby and Abby ahead of their funerals, where he then refused to charge her for this service. Now, unfortunately, there are complications to this story too. The arrest of Allen and the decision taken by prosecutors to keep all information about his arrest under seal have raised many questions in the case and fueled further speculation. Now, it is worth noting that authorities are keeping his probable cause affidavit and all other evidence out of the public spotlight to prevent this case from being jeopardized. And of course, amateur detectives all across the internet have been relentless on this case.
Oh yeah.
For example, many have highlighted that this hat in Liberty's video looks very similar to his wife's hat in this picture. And this image could potentially be very sinister. If he is actually Bridge Guy, then Richard can be seen smiling at the local bar with his wanted poster up in the background. Since his arrest, and understandably, he has begged the court for a public defender. With his weak financial situation, he currently can't afford one. In his public letter, he said the following: "I hereby throw myself at the mercy of the court. I am begging to be provided with legal assistance in a public defender or whatever help is available. At my initial hearing on October the 28th, 2022, I asked to find representation for myself. However, at the time, I had no clue how expensive it would be just to talk to someone. I also did not realise what my wife and I's immediate financial situation was going to be. We have both been forced to immediately abandon employment, myself due to incarceration, and my wife for her personal safety. She has had to abandon our house for her own safety, and what little reserve there is will fail to even maintain the original residence. Again, I throw myself at the mercy of the court. Please provide me with whatever assistance you may." So, with all of these recent updates, what are the next steps? After being booked into the Carroll County Jail on October the 28th, he is now being held in a secret location for his own personal safety. No bond.
Oh yeah, because someone in there is going to kill him. I'm just saying, you hear some shit. This fella took the lives of 2 young girls. Someone in there is already in there for probably a long time. They ain't gonna give 2 shits, and they gonna kill him in his sleep. Just saying, shit happens. I've watched Saws. I know. I do feel slightly bad for his wife, though. Like, if she had no clue that he did it. I mean, I get it. She was laying in bed every night next to a murderer, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day with a murderer, having fun and living her life with a murderer when these 2 girls was murdered. But she had no clue what was going on. And I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just saying, like, if she didn't have any clue what was going on, I feel bad that she's had to basically become a recluse. But I mean, I understand people are frustrated, people are angry, people are mad, and they need someone, somehow, something to take it out on. It's fucked up.
Has been set, and his pre-trial is slated to begin in January 2023, with his trial scheduled for March of that same year. With investigators remaining tight-lipped on their evidence against Richard, it is unlikely that any extra information will be released to the public, so I guess we'll have to wait until March to find out. It is worth noting that a fundamental principle behind the right to a fair trial is that every person should be presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. And while I really hope that authorities have finally captured the bridge guy, primarily to bring closure to Abigail's and Liberty's families, only a fair trial will declare it. With this video being posted in November, that is pretty much where we're at this point in the story. So on that note, that is all from me today, folks. I hope this small update has helped you better understand the
Alright, so maybe we'll get another update whenever the court proceedings take place. I told you he had to be in like his 40s or 50s. I have a lot of family members talk like that. The older ones, not the younger ones my age and younger, but a lot of the older ones, they all talk like that. Damn. If he is the one that did it, I'm not saying he is, I'm not saying he isn't. The court's hearings and everything hasn't even started yet. We do not know for sure. And like Adrian just said, innocent until proven guilty and all that good stuff. But I mean, some of the things ain't wrong. I mean, he does resemble the pictures. The hat did resemble the hat that his old lady was wearing. And was it just me, or whenever he took the picture of him in the bar, like the selfie in the bar, like he was trying to frame the Juana poster in the picture with him? Was that just me, or I mean, I don't. This is a little weird, you know? But if he is the one that, I hope that piece of shit gets everything that he fucking deserves. I don't want death penalty. I want him in prison with someone beating him senseless every day for the rest of his life. I want him to wake up in fear every day, as much fear as them poor girls had right before they died. I want him to have that fear every fucking day of his life for the rest of his God-given life. Oh, damn. All right. If this story messed you all up as much as it messed me up, go down there and leave a like. Yeah. Oh. That was a little much. Yeah, yeah. Y'all are a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, deranged things that just make you want to cry yourself to sleep at night, think about subscribing. Guarantee by the time you wake up in the morning, your pillow will be soaked from all the tears. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Man, that girl was brave, though. Smart, smart young girl. Young lady. The stuff that she did probably really did help out tremendously. I just wish that the police would have done a better job. Don't put out contradicting profile pictures on who you think it might be. That's going to send out mixed signals to people who's trying to give you their information. Like, oh yeah, I definitely seen that guy. Oh, you're not looking for that guy? I never seen that guy. And they're not going to give you nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, the dude looked more like the first picture than he did the damn second picture. I don't know where the fuck that second picture came from. The second picture was supposed to be the first picture. Just no one knew about it. The fuck it was, bud. Don't come at me with that bullshit. You put out the second picture to try to make the guy think that you guys was on a different track. That way he would try to come out hiding. Don't try to act like we stupid. We have big brains on this channel. Tell them, yo.